think it's not like something good for yourself, because you're putting your life at risk, because the process was so fast. But in my opinion, it take too long, because I couldn't wait for the vaccines to be available, you know. So I saw some like political opinions, gender, males. I was expecting that, because men don't even like going to the doctor, let alone get a vaccination, you know. So I was laughing because I saw some things that I expected to appear on the screen, like the type of people and political beliefs, um, gender, and other types of characteristics.
Yeah, when I saw the video, I realized that you like, gente, this there's a pattern there. And then I thought it was funny because I was expecting, just like you, like, because we see that on real life, but we don't see the data. We don't see like the real numbers, right? Perfect. And you, Flavia, what could you get from the video?
Yeah, some people doesn't or don't get vaccination, and I think they have some feelings and thoughts about this, like side effect and thick, and I don't know, the religion, some they show us kind of people like industry and politics and man, and I don't remember the others, but I think religion is the higher than the other because they don't believe that vaccine could help them. But I think they are free to start to think about vaccination because COVID is so new. I take my vaccine, but I will. I was afraid about this because the many kind of information. I I I'm afraid about this, but I took my vaccine and because I need to take, but I don't know if I didn't need to travel, I would take this, but that's it.
No, no, I could get your point. A lot of people, they were a little bit afraid, right? But that's it. I guess they have the right to be afraid. But the best thing is that you took the vaccine, right? Even though you
Yeah,
were afraid of it.
yeah.
Perfect. So, Angelo, hello, good morning. How are you today?
Hello, good morning. I'm good. I feel good today. And
Perfect.
you?
Long time no see. You disappeared. I am good, but I was missing you. What happened to you?
Yeah, because the desencounter of the time, and sometimes I take the class, but in another class because I needed take my children in school in the morning, and sometimes I come back and into in the call, and it's call during all the time, and because that and sometimes I mark the class, but it's not possible I into the class, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ah, perfect. But I'm glad that you're here today. We're talking about vaccines. Okay, we were watching a video. You couldn't see the video because we arrived a little bit late, but there's no problem because the questions they are not related to the video. They are about vaccinations.
Okay.
And since we're live on YouTube, before we start with the questions, I need to explain a few things about Talk and Talk. We are a conversation platform where you can where oh my god, I say this all the time and then sometimes I get like ugh. So we are a conversation platform where you can come here and talk. We have a lot of languages. Today we're talking in English about vaccinations, and let's start with the first question.
Mm.
So Angelo, did you receive vaccinations as a child?
Yes, yes, a lot of vaccinations. I hate vaccinations, but I don't have problem to take vaccination because sometimes it's necessary for your healthy, for a lot of things in Brazil has a lot of bad situations, so necessary to take vaccinations, you know. And yes, nowadays vaccination is very crazy because people's and sometimes activist people's talk about this vaccination is bad for us, and cause a lot of problem. It's because has a new new order, it's new order. Oh, it's possible vaccinate all the peoples for reduce the populations around the world. It has a lot of history about the vaccinations. Yeah, of course.
People invent a lot of things, right? New world order, come on, the world
New
will
world
end because
order.
of vaccines. And for
Yeah,
me, it's totally crazy because since I was a child, I always remember like Zagotinha and going to take vaccines.
yeah.
So it was never a problem for me. And then suddenly it became a problem. So for me, it's a little bit, it's sad, but it's comic at the same time, in my opinion.
But
And
if you think about it, people is in sometimes take your life in the hands of other people for taking decisions for you, and because that it's more common. I watch TV and people talk in TV. Oh, it's good for us, and a lot of people's goes to the people's follow the people's because how people talk about the situation is good for us. Oh, come, follow these peoples because people is good. But in final of day, all the information is the internet in books. If possible, you read about the situations and know about all the problems around the world, like COVID, for example. Yeah.
mhm, that's true. And you, Sarah, did you receive vaccinations as a child?
Yeah, all of them. I have the mark here on my arm. I think
Me too.
this is a really Brazilian thing, this mark.
Mhm.
My mom used to take me to take the vaccines. It was pretty common nowadays. Of course, I go by myself, but as a kid, it was common. We have the campaigns here in my city. So I remember these moments. I didn't like the needles so much because who likes it, right? But I remember that it was something really common in my childhood, and I'm thankful for that because I don't like to think about the idea of, for me, I would be putting my life at risk if I didn't receive the vaccines, so I can say that that was a good idea for my parents to teach me that is important and everything. So I
Perfect.
defend the vaccines like completely. I don't have the I don't
Perfect.
yeah, I think it is so important, but we are going to talk more about it, I guess.
Yeah. 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 And I know this about this mark, this vaccine mark that all Brazilians they have. I guess in the rest of the world, it's not that common to have this mark, but here in Brazil, everyone has it. And also, I hate the needles. I've always hated them until today. I hate needles, and but I take the vaccine. I cry. Sometimes my pressure get low. My pressure get low, but I take the vaccine. And you, Flavia, did you receive vaccinations as a child?
Yeah, me too, all of them. I think it is important for prevent some disease. I think the most important of them, I think, is infantile paralysis.
Mhm.
Uh, I know that some people has this, some person has this because they didn't take the vaccine. I think it's so important for the health. And I did this in all my children. It's important to prevent disease, I think. That's it.
Perfect. Yeah.
I got this sign
This mark.
on my
I guess everyone has
my
it. I don't
hand.
know why they like we have it and the rest of the world doesn't. I don't know why, but That's it. We
I
have
think
it.
it is BCG
Yeah,
is vaccine, né?
yeah, that's true. So let's go to question number 2. Do children in your native country receive vaccinations at school? Like everyone here is from Brazil, although Angelo lives in Portugal. His native country is Brazil. And here in Brazil, I didn't receive vaccinations at school, but I don't know like where you live, but I didn't. It was not in a school, it was like in a clinic. So let's see, Sarah, do children where you live receive vaccinations at school or like somewhere else?
Now I'm thinking about the conspiracy theory, because we are the only one with the marks. Maybe there is something there. I'm just gonna make this. Just gonna say this here, and you guys think about it. I'm
A
kidding.
reflection.
I don't think it is. It has a reason for that. No, it's not. It wasn't so common to have these campaigns at schools. It was up to the parents, to take their kids to the clinic or some hospital, the specific places, and make sure the kids got vaccinated. So I don't think it was a reality to receive vaccines at school.
Mhm. Perfect. And let's see, Flavia, do children where you live receive vaccination at school or in a clinic or somewhere else?
In the clinic, I didn't receive my vaccination at school. I don't remember if my child took the vaccination on the school. I think once they received it, but I think it was out of the normal way to take this. And that's it.
Perfect. And you, Angelo? Angelo, you can say about Portugal, because here in Brazil it's not that common. Do children there, they receive vaccinations at school, clinics? Where do they receive?
In the school is not possible because has a lot of rules about protected children here, and it's not possible because sometimes the parents needed to stay together, and it's not possible because people's working sometimes. And maybe like in Brazil, yeah. The difference when you stay in a company, its company is very common in Brazil too. You take a vaccine or something like that, but in school is not possible. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I know that like maybe they vaccinate the teachers because it's where they work. Usually here in Brazil we have vaccinations at work, right? So like for children, maybe because of that, like the parents need to be together. That's why they don't vaccinate a lot in schools. But I know that like when you are working for a company, usually they vaccinate there. Like you don't need to go to a clinic. They I don't know, they hire a nurse or something and they go there to vaccinate people. And I think it's really cool because you don't need to go to the clinic. Better for
But
everyone.
it's caused panic, you know. Some children, like my children, has a lot of panic with vaccination. Sometimes need me and my wife. Oh, stop it, and all the worker need to take vaccine. It's very difficult sometimes. Yeah.
I can imagine. I have this problem too today. I am 20 years old and I still have problems with needles. I want to go with my mom. It's either my mom, my boyfriend, or my friend. Someone needs to go with me. So let's go to question number 3. Should non-vaccinated kids be allowed to attend daycare or school and join teams or clubs? Like non-vaccinated kids, should they be allowed to like deal with other kids? That's the main point of the question, right? So attend daycare, go to school. Should they? Let's see. Angelo, what do you think? Should non-vaccinated kids be allowed to attend daycare, school, join teams, clubs? What do you think about it?
It's a problem. In Brazil, has a lot of discussion about the situations because sometimes if you have a sick, viral sick, it's not possible you not take vaccine and go to the school because it's possible you infected the other people's beside you and has a lot of problems. And in the school, sincerely has a rule about the situations, right? and it's needed, your children take this vaccine. If not do that, it's not possible to come to school. And COVID, for example, has a lot of problems because people is not agree with this vaccine, and it's nowadays it's not comproved. It's effectively against the COVID. But okay, but in school exactly it's a problem. It's possible it's taking rule. Yes, I agree with your rules about this problem, because if not do that, probably it will cause a lot of problems to another children in school. Yeah.
That's true. They are not harming themselves, but other kids, right?
Yeah, of course. And sometimes kids has a grandmother in your house, and it's possible infect that your grandmother and cause a lot of other problems in your house, in your places. It's because not take the vaccine. Of course, if you have against the vaccine, it's possible you take the talk with the director in the school. Oh, I not take this vaccine of my children because my religion is not possible, or that's it.
I remember that when I was a kid, I had a classmate that he was allergic to some vaccines. So it was not something that like he could choose. He couldn't take. And then when I remember that when I was a kid, we had the problem of I don't know how to say that in English, but a gripe suína. I was like 8 years old, and then no, I was younger than that. I was like 6 years old. And then we had the problem with gripe suína, and he couldn't take the vaccine because he was allergic. And then I remember that like he needed to stay, he needed to stay in a classroom outside of our classroom. Like he needed to stay really like, I forgot the, like social distancing, but I forgot the word even in Portuguese. It's like separate from us because he could like get infected and those things since he couldn't get vaccinated. So it was really, it was boring for him, right? Because he was a kid, but he couldn't stay with us because of this. It wasn't bad for us, but it was bad for him. Like he could get sick because of us. So everybody was sad for him. Like, look at that kid. He's alone. But it was a time that he needed to stay alone. It was sad. And what do you think, Flavia? Should non-vaccinated kids be allowed to attend daycare or school, join teams, clubs? What do you think?
I think so, because we are free now. We have a freedom in our country. It's not it's vaccination is not an obligation. I think so. If you need to travel, I think you need to prove that you are not sick. You need to present a negative COVID test. But at school is not we don't have obligation to prove that we have a vaccine, but I think it is the normal vaccine like BCG and paralyzing paralysis infantil and the others. I think it's not necessary to show. But when you need to receive Bolsa Família, I think you need to have all of the vaccination, included COVID test or COVID vaccine of COVID. But when we tried to travel, I think it was in 2020. Yeah. 2020, October, we need to present or negative COVID test or the vaccination, both of the vaccination of the COVID. But in those time, we didn't have time to take the second vaccination, and my husband presented the COVID test positive, and we didn't allow to travel. I think in this case, when the COVID was in the high position, I think it was necessary to prove that you did it, that we didn't have this kind of virus. But in the normal case, like school, I think is we are free. We didn't live in the dictadura. I think that's it.
Yeah, I remember that when like COVID was still a thing that like people were afraid of, and it was a thing that was a pandemic yet. I remember that everywhere I go, I need to show my vaccination report, like you got the vaccination for COVID. And I need, for example, I went to Rock in Rio last year. It was last year, and then I need to show my COVID test as negative, and I needed to show my vaccination report. So it was like everything, and even in my cell phone, they put this thing like this, so you can only show I am vaccinated. Okay, it's like this because it's faster, and we needed to show everywhere. I remember it was something not only to travel, but like to go enter shopping malls. Where I lived, it was everywhere. Enter shopping malls, enter like doctor's office, every concert like Rock in Rio that I went, everywhere we needed to show. It was something that it was mandatory to show that you were vaccinated. And when I got to college, in school, I wasn't obligated to vaccinate, but when I got to college, they asked all my vaccination report, like since I was a child, if I got the flu vaccine every year, if I got these that leaves the mark, BCG, they asked all the vaccinations for college. Quando eu entrei na faculdade, eles pediram todas as vacinas. And then I remember that I needed to take some that I didn't took before, like tríplice viral, that's like, really, it was terrible. Acabou comigo, but I could enter college, so that's fine. But they asked, it was mandatory to enter college.
Yeah, it was. I remember now. It was necessary to show that your carteirinha de vacina.
Yeah, vaccination report.
Yeah.
And for you, Sarah, should non-vaccinating kids be allowed to attend daycare, school, join teams, clubs? What do you think?
This question is kind of polemic, because you mentioned about the health conditions, and some people cannot get vaccinated. So for me, these people cannot be punished because of that. So they should be allowed to enter these places, even though they didn't get vaccinated. But I have like a strong opinion when it comes to choice. I could have chosen to vaccinate my child, and I chose not to. For me, that's kind of selfish, in my point of view, of course. So I don't know, because it's hard on the kids, sometimes the kids cannot decide, oh, I want to get my vaccine or I don't want. So it's hard on the kids, but maybe a lesson for the parents, maybe. It could be. So your kid is being like isolated from other kids because of your decision, so I think that sends a message. I don't know if it's too hard, too strict decision, but in case the parents could have vaccinated their kids and they chose not to, for me, they should be like it should be like a prohibition. They shouldn't be allowed, okay, to enter these places, but they can always change their minds. I don't know. I don't, because after the pandemic, I become like a I became a strong defender about vaccines because it was so terrible, and I never wanna face that again. So whenever I get to talk about vaccines, I say, just do it, for the love of God, just do it, for
Yeah.
God's sake. But my opinion, yeah.
No, that's true. And it's so complicated because there are some people that even before the pandemic they were against vaccinations. I have a sister and her father is not my father, like is only her father. And since he was like teenager, nowadays he's like 50 years old. Since he was a teenager, he doesn't like to take vaccinations. So like he doesn't take. He didn't take the COVID one. He didn't take the flu one. He didn't take the febre amarela one. None. Zero vaccinations for him. And then everyone thinks he's a little bit crazy, but he has a different lifestyle. He lives like he likes nature. He likes those things. He's a different person. And then he usually he doesn't get sick because of that, because he doesn't live like in urban areas. And since he lives isolated, he doesn't harm anyone. Ele vive realmente tipo um indígena mesmo, like in the middle of the nature. And then he doesn't get sick. And then in that case, I don't think it's a problem. Like if he doesn't harm other people, okay. But if he lived in a city, he needed to go to places, deal with other people, for me it's a problem, like because it's not harming himself, he's harming others. If people want to live isolated, for me it's not a problem for them to not be vaccinated. But if they want to live in a society, I guess they need to be. For me it's a problem. I totally agree with you. I'm a higher defender of vaccinations. So that's it. So let's go to question number 4. Should families who opt out of immunization programs pay higher taxes and insurance premiums? Insurance like health insurance, like you need to pay more because you are more like you more probable for you to get sick. It's more probable for you to get sick, and then you need to pay higher insurance, health insurance. So should families who opt out of immunization programs pay higher taxes and insurance premiums? What do you think, Angelo?
Well, I don't believe in this rule. Like Sarah said, it's if you need to do that, it's possible you live in that dictator. It's not possible for me. It's not possible in put. Oh, you need to pay a lot of tax because you not take vaccine. It's crazy because it's generates a lot of problem around the road because road is divided. Like people decide left. Oh, it's vaccine is good. It's possible you take a good health. It's beside the right. Oh, vaccine is a problem because new world order like that. It's a problem. It's crazy. It starts a new war in the road, but it's possible you has a lot of informations about the situations like Zé Gotinha. When you have programs like that, it's possible people understand more about the vaccinations, the importance of vaccinations. For me, COVID is the example of this case because not have a lot of informations about the vaccination. Only, oh, you need to put the vaccine. I take the vaccine. I take the vaccine, my wife, my children. But if people receive more information about that, it's not possible people accepted this vaccine. It's crazy talk about it. I completely agree with you and Sarah and Flavia when talk about it. Oh, people's living in urban area, it's needed to take the vaccine. But these people living in middle of the wild, it's possible. Oh, okay, for you it's okay because you live like animals, or you live a different life because you have a free all the time, all the situations. For me, you have a society, and society have some rules, and you need to respect these rules. You know, it's possible you take another way, but you need to understand if another way comes a lot of problem for you, or if you need to take a tax, it's okay. In my home, I talk with my friends, my family. about the situations. It's the importance of understand the cause, the correct cause about the vaccine. And then after that you understand, it's possible to take the vaccine or not. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think like you can choose, but you need to choose for you, not for other people, right? So just like you said, if you want to live in a society, you need to understand its rules. So like I want to walk on the street naked. Okay, you can do that. But if you live in the middle of nowhere, right? Because in the middle of a city, it's a crime. So you can't do that. So you need to understand what do you want to do and where do you live, because what you do, it has consequences, right? So you need
Yes,
to choose.
for example, in the big competition, NBA, you know about NBA, it has a lot of famous personality in NBA player, famous, and this player is not take the vaccine, and because that has a lot of tax for pay, because it's not accepted the rule, and in this case this famous is not possible play games in one part of the temporary about this play. It's very crazy, but it's a rule, you know. Some people, 80% of these people in these competitions take a vaccine. 20% is not take a vaccine. It's not possible. You okay? It's your understand your side, but you need to understand another side, another left, if you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It happens a lot on sports thing. Like there was a tennis player, a famous tennis player, I guess Djokovic is his name.
Yes, the same
He
situation.
he
Same
didn't take the
situation.
vaccine, and then he couldn't play in Australia, and he was
Yeah.
like on finals or something like that. It was like the
Yeah.
match of his life, and he
Yeah.
couldn't play because he didn't take the vaccine. It was his choice, okay, but you can't play. That's
It's
it,
a
right?
rule. Yeah, it's a
The rule.
rule, you know. Yeah.
Perfect. And for you, Flavia, should families who opt out of immunization programs pay higher taxes and insurance premiums?
No, no, because if we have or we pay some tax and health insurance, I think we have this. We need to have the same treatment of the others, even though if I didn't take the vaccine, I need to be attended for this hospital or the clinic with the same price that the others. I think it's not it's like a mischief, I think, or discrimination and prejudice. If it is if just because I didn't take the vaccine, I need to pay a lot of money for the treatment. I didn't agree with this because we already pay a higher tests and insurance health. My God, my insurance health is so high. I pay higher price for this, and if I didn't take the vaccine, I need to pay more than the others. It's not fair for me, and I think it's some kind of prejudice that you if this kind of if this hospital, this public hospital or others treatment, I think it is it's not it's not fair, and like I said before, we have a freedom. We have if some people doesn't or don't get to or don't want to get the vaccine, I think they are free. But I agree with you and the others, Angela said that if you don't take the vaccine, you need to prevent that the other or transmit this kind of disease for the others. And I need to use mask and some kind of be far from the others. I think nowadays it's common in Brazil. We see people using the mask, and because in Japan it was normal before the COVID. It was normal that people there use mask for avoid the others transmit this kind of disease like flu or the other virus. In Brazil, we change our mentality about this because we have this virus, COVID, and I think it was it changed our mind about avoid disease and prevent disease and don't transmit disease for the other people. But we are on trail. I think we are on trail, and we need to learn more about this and to respect the others. If you don't want to take the vaccine, you need to respect others.
Perfect.
And that's it.
Yeah. Asian countries, they had this culture, right? Like of wearing masks. Japan, China, like Malaysia, those countries, they wore masks before. And I don't think it was because of COVID, of course, but maybe because of pollution or like flu or anything, because they have more this conscious. And I guess until today, they are wearing masks. Yesterday, I was seeing some news, and I guess a politician from China, he was wearing mask until today. So like they want to do that because they have this mentality of not getting sick, which is, I guess, is a good thing. But I was talking about this in other immersion. Masks, they help us feel better depending on where we are. I went to São Paulo last year, and we didn't need to wear masks anymore. Like it was the end of the year. But São Paulo, there's a lot of pollution there, and the air is totally contaminated. And then I went wearing masks, and I am allergic. So like I'm allergic to a lot of things. And then I went to São Paulo wearing a mask, and I felt better because the other times that I went there, I felt horrible. I was like coughing a lot, sniffing a lot, and wearing a mask, I felt better. So I guess that's why they wear masks in Asian countries even before the pandemic, because they felt better. And I think it's like where I live, I don't need to do that. Like here, it's countryside of Minas Gerais, so it's easier to see like a chicken on the streets than an industry. So I don't need to wear masks here. But I think when we go to big cities and like São Paulo, or I know it is not the same size, but like China, we need to wear a mask to feel better. We don't need to, but it's the best option to wear because we feel better. And in your opinion, Sarah, should families who opt out of immunization programs pay higher taxes and insurance premiums?
This question really got me thinking. I I changed my mind like three times. I think talking about taxes, no, it shouldn't, because I believe that we all pay for this service and we should be allowed to use it whenever we need, because it is a matter of our lives, could be at risk, because of the health. Talking about insurance, we can say, I was thinking we have, for example, elderly people, they pay more because of the higher risk. So if we accept this rule, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but we accept this rule, maybe the vaccination could be another rule to be applied, because it is like the same, using the same idea, okay? Like the elderly are more likely to get sick because of some factors, and someone who's not vaccinated, for me, they also have a higher probability to get sick, so maybe thinking in this way, it would be fair because other people are preventing themselves, taking care of themselves. So it's like a rewarding for those who are, it's more like a rewarding for those who are taking good care of themselves than a punishment for those who aren't, Did you understand? So maybe thinking in this perspective, it makes sense, but not about taxes, because I agree that we pay a lot of a lot of things already. So it would be really heavy to pay more. And there is a public service, so it doesn't matter if you use it, SUS or not. You use, because it is about everything, not only vaccines, right? There is a whole system behind SUS. Hygienization for restaurants, for places, saneamento básico, I don't know how to say, and other things. So SUS is kind of everywhere in our lives. So the taxes shouldn't be higher than they are right now.
I agree with you. I guess that was the conclusion that I got when I was creating this question. Like, I think if you were more propensious to get sick, you pay higher insurance, health insurance. Like older people, they pay higher than younger people. I remember that when I turned 18, my health insurance like it doubled the price, and like it didn't change nothing on me. Like I wasn't more propensious to get a flu or something like that, but it doubled the price because of that. So older people, they pay higher insurance, health insurance. And I think if you are not vaccinated, you are more propensious to get sick. So you need to pay higher taxes because you are the probability that you're going to use the health insurance is higher than if you were not vaccinated. Right? So I think you need to pay higher because of that, but not taxes, because just like Sarah said, you are going to use SUS everywhere in your life, né? Vigilância sanitária, saneamento básico, vaccinations, because maybe you don't want to get this vaccine, but maybe others you want. And then you use SUS everywhere. And then you need to pay taxes for that. And not only for SUS, but like everything that is public that we use in our life. So I think they should stay like this, but health insurance, I think it's important to pay what you use, right?
And you do not choose to get old, but you can choose to get vaccinated or not. So it's like if you accept the rule about age, the rule about vaccination, for me, it makes even more sense than only age,
That's true. I agree with you. And you don't choose to get other diseases, for example, diabetes or like higher pressure. And if you have these things, your health insurance is higher, right? So, but you can't choose if you get COVID or not, or like flu or something, but you can get vaccinated for that. And for diabetes, for like higher pressure, you can't. So if you can choose, I guess you can pay lower prices if you want. Right.
I didn't know that if you have some disease, you need to pay higher price of this high health insurance.
Yeah.
Did you pay?
No, my grandfather, he paid, but because it's not like like this. You got the sick, and you got the illness, and then they put the price higher. It's like this. My grandfather, he died last year, but he had Alzheimer, diabetes, a lot of diseases. He cancer, and then each year they need to put the price higher, né? Eles têm reajuste todo ano. But when each year he got even sicker, né? Ele ficava mais doente a cada ano. Então o reajuste era absurdo because of his conditions. He needed to use the health insurance more, and he was getting older, sicker, and worse, né? Estava ficando mais doente, mais velho e pior. Então era para aumentar o preço do health insurance, but the way it was increasing the price was like absurd because of that, né? O aumento do preço era absurdo por causa das doenças que ele tinha. And if you get sicker, se você fica mais doente, aumenta o preço. And for example, I have my health insurance and I have some diseases. I have asthma, I am allergic, And I had some problems with my ear. Every year during the winter, it gets like something in my ear, fica inflamado, terrible. And then I have these diseases. And then I have some friends that they have the same health insurance as me, but they are healthier. And then they pay lower prices. O preço que elas pagam no mesmo plano de saúde, usando os mesmos benefícios, they pay lower prices because they are healthier. It's like this, because you use more. You need to go to the doctor more often. Like I go to the doctor every month. They don't need to go to the doctor every month. So they pay lower prices. And I pay a higher price because I need to use more often. Né? Preciso usar com mais frequência. It's totally unfair, in my opinion.
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem because I know about this information. I pay the assurance with my mom. It's a problem because my mom has diabetes, and sometimes people take a checklist of you're healthy. Oh, you have some problems. Yes, I have some problem. Oh, I don't have idea which problems do, and yeah, and because of that you receive a lot of payments to spend a lot of payments about this assurance. It's very crazy in Brazil, like assurance to all the situations, not only in health. Like if you have a car, I spend off car. See, if you have a one big house, it's a problem because the insurance get a lot of money for maintaining your source. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's totally crazy. It's something that not everyone knows, né? Nem todo mundo sabe que isso acontece, but it happens.
It happens all the time.
It happens. Eu sei disso porque na minha família todo mundo tem uma... Ninguém é saudável na minha família. And then I know that because we pay higher prices in health insurance. And then we were asking ourselves, like, why do we pay so high on that? And then we start asking other people, like, how much do you pay?
I didn't know this because all of us are health, I think.
So lucky you, Flavia. Lucky you. Because in my family it's terrible. Like the health insurance is an absurd, and then but we need to pay because we need. Like my father, he has diabetes too. He has some problems. He needs to pay higher. I have my brief problems, my problemas respiratórios, and then I need to pay higher. So it's like this. It's a part of life.
Yeah.
You need to take more money for your life. Live a good life in the future. You take some class all the time for do that.
Yeah. That's why I work all the time. Tá vendo porque eu trabalho tanto, gente? That's
it's a problem.
No, but I like what I do, so that's